What would you say your favorite slasher movie is?
My favorite slasher movie.
Hmm.
Um, Not a movie, but it's a slasher episode from Psych, which is basically just Friday the 13th condensed into an hour. And also, oh wait, there's a killer. There's a killer. Never mind. Do you remember it?
Which one was this? Which one was this? I don't remember this.
Camp something something
Oh,
something
right, right,
demon.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where they go to the camp and it turns out to be like the sort of awkward dude they meet right in the beginning.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, 'cause he was like the I think he was like the great grandson of somebody who like got
Died
killed or
there.
died. Yeah,
Right, because there was like a not a doll, but like a thing underwater, right? That they find.
right. Well, no, they don't find it. It's just like I think it ends with Jules and Sean like standing at the lake, and then the camera like
Oh,
sinks beneath the lake, and you see the body or whatever it was like under the water still.
yes. But yeah, it had all the the casual, not the casual, but it had all the archetypes in that episode. It was basically Friday the 13th, but with two extra
Hmm.
characters.
Yeah.
It was fun. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Um, I guess if we're talking about actual movies, then maybe Tucker and Dale vs. Evil,
Hmm.
where the slasher is just bad luck,
Right.
and then it's the guy at the end. But you know, for the most part, it's bad luck.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
great fucking movie. I fucking laughed so much. It was just so much fun to watch. These kids just start tricking themselves into wood chipper.
Because they believed the kids had a suicide pact. That's what it was, right?
Yeah, it was a suicide pact that I thought it was.
Uh-huh.
Like it was the wood chipper. What were some other like funny kills? Um, doesn't
It
one of
wasn't a
them just
kill, but doesn't one of the girls like she gets knocked out and like falls into the water and they like
yeah
pick
they
her up to
help?
try and take her to safety?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that
She's
the other
like
kids think she's being abducted.
she's like the final girl at the end, and they
Hmm.
go bowling. One kid just runs into a fucking stick and dies,
Right, yeah. He does the
gets impaled.
it's essentially the pie on the rake thing, but he gets impaled instead of pie in the face.
Was that the black guy? There was a black guy, right? What happens to him?
Was there a black
I
guy?
think there was a black guy, and he gets stung by a bunch of bees. He may have been the wood chipper guy.
Maybe. Maybe he
Uh,
was.
oh wait, one of them gets their head chopped off from like an accidental booby trap in the cabin.
Okay, uh-huh.
I don't know. Maybe that was the black guy. Oh my god, another fun slasher movie. Now that I'm talking about these, I start remembering them again. But Babysitter.
I was gonna say that.
That
Yeah.
was a fun movie
In
where the
the reverse
slasher,
slasher.
yeah, where the slasher is our main character. Well, it kind of works in both ways, where there's like multiple slashers trying to kill our main character, who then
Hmm.
reverses it and starts killing them off.
Right.
Yeah, fun movie. Really colorful for a horror movie. I remember lots of
It
colors,
was. Uh-huh.
but
It
it's
was very over the top at
oh
times.
super over the top.
Although I think still in The Babysitter, my favorite character was the jock. Just because of the like he takes a break in the middle of it to get the main character to go like try and pick a fight with the kid who's like egging his house.
Yeah,
It's America. You just go fuck his shit up.
they had some pretty good characters. All of them were really fun. Uh, you
They
had
were all really great characters,
you
yeah.
had the one cheerleader who gets like shanked in the boob.
You get shot in the boob, yeah.
Oh, shot in the boob. Oh yeah.
By the cops. Mhm.
Oh right. Do the cops die? I thought that, or what happens with the
Yeah, the
cops?
cops die.
Okay.
They get one of them gets fucked up by the jock. I don't remember what happens to the other one. Because
I need to watch the movie again.
they bust in like right after the whole sacrifice Samuel scene,
Right, the
and
nerdy kid,
I'm
right?
pretty sure they both die. Yeah, the nerd gets killed
Immediately.
uh, immediately by our cast of villains. Um, and yeah, the cops bust in, shoot the cheerleader, and then it leads to the black guy dying.
Yeah. I believe that's because he like runs up the stairs and then gets like impaled on one of like the stair posts, or the post falls down. Something of that sort happens.
Yeah, he like falls off the stairs at the top and then gets impaled on something on the way down. I don't remember what.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. They made a sequel. It was less good in my opinion.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
There was a sequel.
The same
It came
characters
out.
or like?
It's the same. I mean, it has the same like two, surviving kid characters, but they're older now. They're in. I think they were in middle school then, so they're in high school. They're in like their first or second year of high school, I think.
Okay.
It's just I don't know, less good.
Eh,
They do. It's essentially like a similar kind of setup in like a beach setting now, because they like go away to this like essentially like spring break party in the middle of whatever fucking desert state that they live in. Um, yeah, it just wasn't as good. I don't know.
okay.
I was hoping for like once again like some sort of reversal of some other type of like horror movie, like a reverse of like the demon possession type of horror movie or something like that. But well, it just wasn't as good in my opinion. I wanted
How
to
would you
enjoy it.
reverse a demon possession movie?
I don't know. I was thinking about that just now. I don't know what like the reversal like trick would be there.
Um, I know a movie called, oh god, I don't actually don't remember it anymore. But there is a movie that basically is about the trial that happens after a supposed demon possession of this one German girl. And that's kind of like a reversal of the horror trope, where like you're not really talking about like the horror aspect. You're trying to like deconstruct it in a court setting to find out whether it was real or
Right.
not, or like whether it's credible enough.
Hmm.
But really, the facts of the case are about whether or not the lady believed that she was possessed and whether or not exorcism would have helped her out. I think that was like what was happening. Eventually, they decided no. Uh, the doctor was an idiot for allowing it to happen. The priest basically killed the girl, as well as the parents were charged with manslaughter.
Wow. That's less of a fun ending than I would have hoped.
Yeah, the girl dies. Like it was really sad. Like she by
That
the end of
is,
it, she's
yeah.
like emaciated.
Ugh.
Yeah. I forgot what it's called. At some point, I'll tell you about it. But yeah, it happened in Germany. Sad story. Happened in like the 1950s. But yeah, she's dead. Sucks to be her.
Okay. Yeah.
Or maybe another
All this
reversal.
talk of
Go ahead.
yeah, talking of all the reversals and of the slasher films. The reason I brought it up is because we're starting off today with Muno no Nana. Welcome back to ABC.
Munonana.
It's episode something. Brandon does
Episode
these episode
109,
numbers.
most likely.
109. And we're your hosts. I'm Nick.
I'm Brandon.
And, we don't really do anything else for intros, so let's just get the fuck right into it.
Woo! Munonana. Would you like to start out, Nick?
Sure. I watched them yesterday and have already somewhat forgotten the plot of a little bit of both of the episodes we watched
Okay,
because
well-
last week we talked about 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Brent had watched 4 then. I had not watched 4, so we're doing 4 and 5 today.
Yes. So in episode 4, basically it's the marinating of the dog girl. The episode.
Right.
Where there's a dog girl whose power is that she can heal people. Not sure how she kills someone with that ability,
Yeah.
but like she can.
I mean, this goes back into the whole like, how does the kid that we killed first have a death count of like over 1 million people
Right.
if his ability is to cancel out people with special powers abilities? Where like I guess you get credit for like enabling people to use their abilities in the future kind of thing.
I'm starting to think that number is a little sketch.
Yeah, that's the other thing is I'm kind of starting to believe like we talked about this last time
Yeah.
that this may all just be made up to make Nana feel good about being a cleaner for this whatever they are, shadow organization.
Yeah.
I don't think those numbers are real. I think she's just killing kids to kill kids on the
Well-
order of this government.
Yeah, so she isn't doing
Right.
that.
Yeah.
The company or whatever is making her do
Yeah.
that.
Hmm. She has been told that she's doing this in
Yes.
service of humanity. In reality, I think this shadow
No,
organization is making up these numbers to make her feel good and is doing this because they're just a shitty organization.
Yeah,
I
they're,
think.
they're most likely manipulating her.
Yeah,
Almost 100% sure about that.
it's very likely.
Yeah. But we see that what her power is. After she gets after Nana kind of gets a little scrape from her, right? She gets a little scrape, so the dog will just like
Yeah,
that was a little awkward and weird. But
it was very awkward and weird
that's
when
her
it
power.
happened.
Which is here's the thing though, she doesn't have to lick. She doesn't have to lick someone. We see in the next episode. She just has to lay on hands.
Yeah, we do see that in the next episode that she just has to do the lay on hands thing. We didn't really like discuss the lay on hands thing, so we don't know if that's like,
A
you know,
separate power, like a separate
yeah, an
use of the
extra power, extra strong heal, where like it does something different then.
Oh, right, because I think the two bully girls say that the more she uses her power, basically she kind of trades her life for a little bit of theirs.
Right.
And she's also a total pushover.
Yes, she's also a complete wimp. And is totally kind hearted and believes the best in everybody and all sorts of things.
Perfect for marination.
Right, exactly.
Succulent. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Everyone
God.
scratch that out.
Please don't ever use the word succulent again in describing any living human being, male or female. But yeah, so Nana decides to, essentially because she needs an alibi. Two people have now gone missing under suspicious circumstances after becoming friends with her. So Nana needs to create some way of getting Kyoya, who is hot on the trail, especially after he just found Nana standing outside of the blown-up shed that he was in. He is hot on her trail, and she needs to find a way to kind of get him off her back. And so the plan that she comes up with is she's gonna saddle up the dog girl and then create some sort of situation, some sort of scenario where she can be the hero and not have someone die and be seen being the savior. This also falls into her other plan, which is to install herself as a leader of the classroom.
Yes, because now there is no leader because the elected leader died in the first episode.
Right.
Well, was killed.
Went missing. But yeah, so the plan that she ends up coming up with is that she needs to sneak out and, protect the dog girl during the night. The problem is that Kyoya has decided to post himself up outside of Nana's door. Like, literally directly outside of. It's real creepy. You would think that, like, the fact that they have male dorms and female dorms would mean that, like, people would patrol them and, like, make sure that weird, creepy shit wasn't going down, but...
I don't think they just give a shit. They just don't care. Two kids are missing. They don't give a crap.
Then, I do also want to point out that this is a bunch of fucking horny-ass teenagers on, like, fucking Paradise Island by themselves with minimal supervision. This would be like fucking Love Island.
Oh God.
There would be a baby being born every third week. But that aside,
baby.
Right, a superpowered baby.
Exactly what they want.
Like the laser baby from the boys.
Well,
just chop its head off and use the laser down the school.
Is that what happened? I thought they just like grabbed the baby.
I mean, they kill the baby at the end somehow. I forgot how they kill it, but at some point that baby dies. But yes, he does use the baby's head or the baby to laser a couple dudes first. But superpowered baby is aside, Nana has found that Kyoya is posted up outside of her door, and he does his usual, like, I think of all of you as my little sister. I promise I won't do anything weird. I don't know if this dude is, like, being sincere when he says that shit. I don't know if he's being sincere when he says, like, don't worry, I wouldn't do anything weird to you. I think of you all as my little sister. Like, I don't know if I fully believe that dude.
I don't know.
Kyoya's a weird motherfucker.
He's a weird motherfucker, but, like, I think for the most part he's being sincere. But, like, until I see that sister, I'm gonna be suspicious.
Yeah. But, so Nana now has a problem that she solves by putting on some loud music. She says that, I listen to music to go to sleep. She puts on some loud music, and then I really don't know what happens here. She, like, bails out her window, but then, like, runs back inside the dorm, but, like, there's an awkward amount of time in between those two events.
It was a little weird. This is definitely something that was, I think this is a manga, maybe in a light novel.
I think it's a manga. I think I looked it up yesterday.
Yeah, because, like, in there's, like, a very condensed sense of time. Like, so things can happen a little bit faster. With this, it looked a little funky.
Yeah. Because we have...
The music starts.
Nana goes back inside. The music starts. Kyoya...
Almost immediately is like, that's suspicious. That's way too loud.
Yeah.
So he just walks in. And by that point, she's already gone.
So he does walk in. Okay, good. But then at some point, like, he looks... I forget if he looks out the window or if he walks outside. Okay, the window's open. So he looks outside. And then he sees Nana running back into the dorm. But she's not running, like, from her window straight, like, along the building and then into the dorm. Like, she's running in as though she was, like, coming outside of the wall. Yeah. because they have this little like 6-foot wall that like surrounds the dorm building. So like she's running in from like as though she was in like the woods outside of the wall, and like it didn't make sense. It was all like it was a weird perspective to take on it.
Yeah, I think it would have looked, or at least felt a little better if you see her like running away from the window and kind of like turning into the door.
Uh huh.
But it was a little weird. That I did also kind of see that, and I was a little mystified as to why that was the way they showed it.
Yeah. But it does get the point across that like he sees Nana sprinting in from outside, so he
Bolts out after her,
yeah
trying to
bolts
find out
he
what
does
she's
yeah he
after.
jumps outside the window I think and like runs into the front door, which
Yes.
again weird decision, just like go back into the hallway because like the dorm is not that big, but whatever. So he runs out there, and then in the meantime Nana bursts into the dog girl's room and she like shouts at her like, "There's an enemy of humanity, get down!"
Yes.
And then we see her like whip out the fucking, they call it a gimlet or something, but it's a fucking ice pick. It just is an ice pick.
I always
Um,
think of ice picks as looking more like small pickaxes
um,
because they can
I
look
think you're
like
thinking
that
of
too.
climbing pickaxes.
I guess I don't
So,
know.
so there are like smaller pickaxes, but those are climbing picks. Ice picks are like, it's a really antiquated things. Like they're just not really used anymore. But think of like back
I'm
in the
also
day
thinking
when
of
you
meat
had like,
hooks.
okay, yeah, back in the day when you had like hotel ice and you had to go
Oh
like
yeah,
get
and
it
you just like
yourself,
yeah,
and it was a
you
huge
crush it.
block of ice, and you had to like chip off a piece. It was an ice pick has like basically it's like a hand-sized handle, and then it's a very long, thin piece of metal with a very sharp point on the end. So that's why like back in like the mafia days, you'd always have like ice pick Tommy or something, where like he
Yeah.
was the dude you went to kill people. Because an ice pick is very like very thin, very lightweight sort of thing that you could like tuck into clothing, get past somebody, and then it's super fucking sharp, so you could just ram it into somebody's like brainstem and kill them.
Ah yes, the lobotomy.
Exactly.
You
The
can
ice
also use
pick
a
lobotomy.
tithing needle.
Ugh. Um, but yeah, talk of ice picks aside, we see Nana pull out the ice pick, and then cutting back to Kyoya, we hear a scream. Kyoya bursts into the dog girl's room, and he finds Nana lying on the floor,
With a
bleeding,
yeah, in
with
her
the gimlet in her. Or
kidney.
no, she doesn't see the gimlet. He
No,
just sees,
it was
yeah, there's been
missing.
a stab wound in her back.
There's been a
The
shanking.
dog girl, yeah, there's been a stabbing inside of the dog girl's room. For some reason, nobody suspects the dog girl here. Um,
It's a
Kyoya,
dog girl.
I mean, you're right. It is, yeah, the class like fucking angel, basically. Um, but Kyoya sees this and sees the dog girl healing her, and pretty much immediately understands like this is still not exonerating evidence in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form.
He does believe, well, doesn't believe, but he comes up with a theory that she did this to herself. But he
Mhm.
doesn't have enough evidence to actually continue on that line of thinking. So for the most part, he's like, I guess she's okay-ish.
Right.
But like,
And his whole problem is like he can come up with a theory of like she would do this to herself, but he doesn't understand why she would do this to herself.
yeah,
Because as is very obvious and is the thing that we would all complain about if this is the reason why she did it, the like I'm stabbing myself on the back so it clears me of evidence doesn't clear you of anything. It's a really obvious thing to do. Like being the one who gets attacked and survives doesn't like clear you of like, oh, you're definitely fine, like you got attacked. That's super suspicious that you didn't fucking die when it killed two other people already. um so Kyoya kind of has that theory of like maybe she's faked this, maybe she stabbed herself, but he can't figure out a reason why because like he doesn't see what she stood to gain out of stabbing herself in the back there. He's still suspicious of her. He clearly sees something is going wrong. Like this is not exonerating evidence to him, but he doesn't understand enough about why she's done it to come up with a theory definitively that says she definitely did this to herself. Nana claims that she was attacked by an enemy of humanity,
who probably
and
goes invisible or some shit, because that's
right,
the only way they can explain them, or it not really showing up anywhere.
right, and she uses her made-up superpower of being able to read people's minds as an excuse for why she was able to figure out where it was, because she heard it talking about wanting to kill the dog girl, or
Yes.
thinking about wanting to kill the dog girl, I should say. All this leads to the next day Nana being elected as team leader because she sacrificed herself kind of to save the dog girl, and so she's shown leadership qualities enough for the classroom.
And that's when we get our next piece of plot. with weirdo spiky-haired kid
Yeah,
who is able to tell the future with photographs, and
weird douchebag.
he has a premonition that he will get strangled by Nana at 10 o'clock someday
In the PE shed.
in the PE shed. PE
Which,
shed,
like,
rope. Fucker.
right. Shout out to Cluedo. His, like, power seems weird to me.
So it's a little weird, a little wonky,
Yeah.
but I do like how it's a way to. It's an interesting um, problem. Interesting,
Hmm.
yeah, a problem for our main character to deal with. How does she change a future that's already set?
Right.
And the way you do it is by like recontextualizing different pieces of that future, ish.
Uh-huh. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird to me, like, it's something that we can't really go against because we're not, like, in the universe, but, like, from the context of it, like, Nana knew that the future said she was going to try and strangle him at 10 p.m. in the PE shed with the rope. And, like, she sets it up so that he will go to the PE shed that day to be, strangled at 10 p.m. as, like, a test of her to see if, like, she was a good person or a bad person.
Hmm.
She didn't have to show up. She could have slow played it. Like, she knew the future and, like, knew the other piece of the future that we see at the end of the episode where she gets caught, where, like, she could have just slow played it and, like, not gone that day and, like, found a different way to kill him somehow on a different day.
Well, part of it is that she wanted to change what the future was, and she
But she didn't
believed she
even
could.
change any of the future, though. That was the thing.
Yeah, that was the point. It's like she failed.
Right.
And another piece of it was, I think she wanted to do it as soon as possible. I forget what the impetus was, but she
I
has like
guess
a
having
reason.
somebody who can predict, who can see the future is not a great thing to have when you're trying to be a serial killer.
Yeah.
When he's getting pictures of you being a serial killer all the fucking
And
time.
also, just being a creep.
Mhm.
All that rest, I guess, made her want to like, yeah, I'd better get rid of this guy as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Which is kind of her downfall-ish, maybe. We don't know yet, because she does get
You're right.
caught by Kyoya and Dog Girl. Wait,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. They will show up.
I was thinking that they were both like in the doorway, but what it actually is that Dog Girl's like next to the body, having just found uh, the photo, right?
Yeah, that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Because Kyoya and Dog Girl show up after, I forget why they know what's going down.
Oh, wait.
I think it was like Nana was missing all day, and
Nana was
so
missing all day. They asked
they
around
ask
and said
around.
that they were. I think I'm confusing two things, but yes, they asked around and they found out that this one dude, this fucky haired dude, has been saying that Nana's his
Spiky
girlfriend.
douchebag.
Yeah, and they find out where he was supposed to be, and that was in the PE shed. So they go over to the PE shed, and that's how they find
Uh-huh.
Nana with the dead body,
Hmm.
and she's holding the photograph, just like in the other photograph.
Yeah.
There's actually pieces
But, like,
where she's trying to play
somewhere
it
in the
all
middle,
off.
Kyoya stops by the spiky haired douchebag's room.
I think right before.
And they find a picture, don't
Oh
they?
yes, that's why they go to the pee shed, because it's the picture of her getting when she strangles herself. The selfie she
Oh,
does.
right. Yeah, the one the selfie.
Yes. So they go to his room because that's where it's his room, and
Hmm.
they're being told that they were hanging out together. They go to his room. They find the picture. They go over to the pee where the picture was taken. The pee shed where the pee picture was taken.
Yeah, there we go.
And then she has to play off the death because that's not the end of the episode. It actually happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I misconstrued two things a little bit ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, she has to play off why she's next to a dead body.
Right. And it was basically she was getting raped, as I recall what her defense was.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when he's holding a picture of her,
Strangled.
being strangled with half her clothes taken off, it's a good defense.
Yeah.
There is the counter argument of, like, then why is the picture in his room if you're currently being raped? Of, like, we never really deal with that. It is sort of a plot hole, but whatever, we'll cross past that. I only just now thought of that. But so he got pricked with the poison needle when he attacked her to actually rape her. So her lie isn't fully a lie. She was probably about to get raped. But she stabbed him with the poison needle that she had made earlier in that day to deal with the dog girl, presumably. Or
No, that was for the Immortal Kid, I think.
right. No, well, no, it wasn't for the immortal kid because she doesn't. I guess maybe it was a test of the immortal kid to see like what happens if he gets poisoned.
Yeah, but she has
Um,
multiple of the poison needles.
but it was also because she can no longer be seen like she doesn't want any more like violent deaths.
Yeah.
She wants to have some like magic deaths that she can blame on the enemies of humanity, so that way like Kyoya can't like constantly be seeing like violent death, violent death, violent death, where he's like,
Where it's
I'm
clearly
pretty
like
convinced
someone
these are
could
like
do this.
these are human beings doing this. She wants an unexplainable death where like Kyoya has less reason to suspect a human being.
And something like poison would be very useful because I mean it's not like they have a fucking forensics office there.
Right. Uh,
Well, we
so
might find out next
she
episode.
used right. We might find out more next episode. So she used the poison needle on the spiky-haired douchebag. The two of them show up, and the dog girl immediately tries to go to save his life because, Nana's pretending to be a good person again, and she's like, "Oh, he was trying to rape me, but still try and save him. Like, don't try too hard, but try a little bit." um, and so the dog girl gives it a shot, but no, it's too late. She can't do anything.
Oh, poor.
Um, yeah, Kyoya and
Important
Nana have a little.
important note.
Go ahead.
She can't heal poison
Yeah, she
or
cannot heal
death.
poison.
Technically, I think he's just dead at this point.
I
Never
think
mind.
she's just dead.
Yeah. We
Um,
don't know if he.
we
she
don't
can
know
heal-
that she can't heal poison.
Yeah.
She does say that she can heal blood leaving internal organs, so she doesn't necessarily need to be able to interact with like
Or
the
see
place
it.
you're injured, right? But blood leaving internal organs is a very different like injury type of thing than poison, which interacts in a very different way. So we don't know if she can or cannot prevent poison right now. Um, but so Kyoya and Nana have a little conversation off on the side about like the pictures and stuff and why she's there and why she was getting blackmailed. And Nana lies and basically says like, "Oh, he was blackmailing me because he had my nudes and like he was gonna do bad things to me or else he was gonna show them to everybody." And Kyoya was pretending to be understanding of like, "Oh yeah, I understand. Like I would understand why you were getting blackmailed like that." Nana runs back to his room really quickly to collect all the actual pictures of her murdering a whole bunch of dudes. And Kyoya stops by too to try and find those pictures because he was pretending and clearly saw that she was freaking out about those pictures. They have a little conversation there of, oh, you came back so quickly to get your stuff and, get all those pictures. Internally, they're both going like, you know, Nana's going, fuck, I can't believe you got here so quickly. And Kyo's going, fuck, I wish I got here faster.
Damn it.
And in the meantime, we see Nana collects most of the pictures, but she notices
Yes,
that
yes.
she's missing one.
Too late though.
Right. Because back in the shed, we see Dog Girl who stayed behind, who's doing her lay on hands thing, which we don't understand what it does, but it doesn't do enough. She finds that tucked inside of his shirt, Spiky Douchebag had the one picture of a killing of Nana that he had, other than himself, which was her pushing the kid from the very first episode off that bridge, or off the cliff.
Off the cliff.
And just then, as Dog Girl's looking at the picture going, well, this looks like a fucking murder right here, we see Nana come in the room with her head all tilted with the fucking murder smile on.
My guess is the way she's gonna play it off is she's gonna try to convince Dog Girl that she was trying to grab the guy that was falling. Because they've kind of done close-ups at the like broken rope before.
Mhm.
So I think her excuse is the rope was broken, he was falling, and I was gonna try to save him. I think that might be her like excuse or her like one of the ways she tries to get out of this.
I could believe that.
And if that doesn't work, Dogger's gonna get domed.
Yeah. She could probably just try and choke the life out of her. Can't heal what's constantly being injured. Logic. Can't heal
we
not
will
having
see.
oxygen.
You don't know that. You don't know if she can like manifest oxygen in the blood cells. We don't know how lay on hands works.
It's true. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she tries to play that one off, or if Dog Girl turns into more of on the
fucking
Kyoya
mastermind
side of. No, I'm not gonna give her mastermind yet.
Yeah,
I
I
was just
don't
going
want her to be
maybe she'd side with Kyoya.
I want her just to be like a pawn.
The fucking dog.
Yeah. Because like she's still very she was very trusting of Nana,
Mm-hmm.
and she is a pushover. So like I could see her being like manipulated.
Yeah.
but I don't know how far it can go. And we do still have to see a bunch of other characters. So our girl Nana's gonna get out of this somehow.
Yeah.
But what it is, I don't know. So far, there's 3 dead bodies, and they've all been around Nana.
It's not a great look. I'm gonna be honest.
Not, at this point, she would probably get voted out.
Probably. But I mean, to be fair, they didn't find time teleportation kid.
Yeah, they don't
Nobody
know.
has questioned his disappearance. I want to point out.
I think it's been a day or 2.
Okay, maybe it's been like 2 days now,
I
but
think
still,
it's been like 4 days since 3 bodies have been, or since
yeah,
2 kids have gone, or 4 days since 1 kid's gone missing, 3 days since 2 kids have gone missing, and now they're about to find now a kid's just dead, and 2
right.
other
A kid's
characters
straight
know
up
about it.
dead, and
Yeah.
they found the body. Yeah, but like when the leader went missing, like they were on that shit. Fucking, it felt like almost immediately. Like the next episode kicked off with them being like, "That kid's missing. Like something's not right."
I mean,
He called in sick, but he's not in his room. Like something's weird.
they said that kid's missing, and then didn't care.
I mean, you're right. They didn't do anything about it, but at least they acknowledged it. Fuck it. When time teleportation went missing, nobody has acknowledged it. They're just like, "Yep."
Wait, no,
He
yeah, they
just-
have. They've said like,
Have they
yeah,
acknowledged it?
yeah, they've been like, hey, that guy's also missing, and then they didn't do anything about it.
This is what we're learning: is these kids suck and they kind of deserve to die.
I mean, but really, where are the teachers in all of this? I assume
I mean,
they
they're on the
care.
take though. The teachers are on the take.
Do we know this?
Yeah, they
did?
Nana's mentioned that like the teachers are all like in on what's happening here.
Oh, I must have missed that. I didn't know.
I think it comes up in the 3rd episode when she's like tag teaming Kyoya to do investigation on the 2 missing kids. Nana mentions like the teachers are on the take when they she like thinks it to herself when they go to talk to one of the teachers about like what they should do about the 2 missing kids, because Kyoya finds the one dead kid's watch and so like he's definitively dead now. And Nana's like, oh, the teacher on my side, so they like won't do anything that'll like cause a panic or anything. It's like that's good. Like the teachers know what's up.
Okay. Okay, so one real quick thing that I just remembered from the 1st episode. Remember that like sudden burst of energy that like knocks Nana off the cliff?
Yes,
I wonder what that was.
I think that was just her faking it. I don't think that was real.
Okay.
I think that was like
The
a
fake.
like a narrative trick where like we believe that there was a burst of energy that knocked
Right.
Nana off the cliff. I think what actually happened was Nana
just
just
faked
threw
it.
herself into the rope to break the rope to give herself an easier time later.
Possibly. That'd be yeah, I'd believe that. I do like how they framed it in between Kyoya like reading the book and then the teacher showing up, because that makes you think that's one of them doing it. But we know that Kyoya couldn't have done it because he just can't die.
Yeah, he's immortal.
Yeah, he's just that's his power, so he can't really like project power anywhere.
Right.
The teacher could have done something, but he was too busy trying to figure out whether Kyoya was a smart cookie, smarter than the rest of the fucking idiots in his class.
I mean, it's not a high bar to beat being the smart one in that class.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, these kids are fucking dumb as rocks.
I mean, the douchebag kid wasn't that dumb. At least he knew how to like use his power. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but his grand plan of I found evidence that this girl is a serial killer is let me blackmail her so I can have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not like let's bring this girl to justice so she doesn't kill anybody else or shit like that. Like no,
That
his
kid
whole
didn't.
plan
You
was
knew that kid didn't want justice. That kid was an idiot. Well, okay.
the kid just wanted to fucking get it in.
Yeah.
The kid was not fucking intelligent. Like, God.
You heard it here first, folks. Just talk to the woman. Just talk. Don't try to get a superpower. Just talk to them.
Yeah.
And so we
Don't
move
try
on.
to don't try to use your weird future telling superpower to blackmail a serial killer. Shockingly, it did not end well.
Did not. Much like the serial killer in our next show, Yokiko no Mori. Would you consider
He wasn't
Moriarty?
a serial killer.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't consider.
Oh, would Moriarty a serial killer?
Yeah, would you consider Moriarty a serial killer?
I mean, that's interesting. Because like, it's an argument of if Moriarty is like culpable for the crimes that he consults on.
Yes. Because like I can tell someone how to commit a crime.
Right.
but like at that point it's like completely up to them whether they do it. But like he
Yeah.
kind of takes an extra step. Like not only does he tell them how to commit the crime, he's almost always usually there to also help them execute the crime.
Right. He ensures that it goes off well.
Yeah.
But like in the first episode, he doesn't actually take part in the killing of the cannibal Duke or whatever, or the cannibal Earl.
No, but he does like kill his
All he does is
foster
kidnap him.
parents. Oh, but he kills his foster parents in the third episode.
Okay, yeah, he does help with blowing up the mansion in the third episode.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know whether or not he's killed people before and after this, but for sure there's at least 3 dead bodies on him. I wouldn't consider the younger brother to be a body that he's involved with because Albert, shanks him.
Right, Albert stabs him with the chair leg.
So I'd give that kill to Albert.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's an interesting argument of if, in the context of serial killings, do they count as serial killings if you're not the one who wants to kill them?
I think
Because like he helps with killing the step parents, but he doesn't want to kill the step. I mean, he does want to kill the step parents because his whole eat the rich mentality. But like,
yeah.
he doesn't want to kill the step parents there for himself. Like he kills the step parents because Albert wants to kill the step parents there.
Do you have to want to kill someone in order to be a serial killer?
I mean, it's an interesting argument. Yeah.
'Cause,
I
like-
don't know how I would say. Yeah.
Because like usually like if it's not premeditated, like it's an act of passion type of thing. I don't know if you can act of passion 10 different kills, right? Like you get yourself in a situation where you like just kill someone in 10 different scenarios.
Right.
It's a little weird.
I mean, people. Okay. I'm going to say
'Cause,
yes. Moriarty is a serial killer. This is the
Right.
context I'm putting it in. The Angel of Death, the whatever he was, doctor or nurse who assisted in like 800 suicide, like medically assisted suicides in I think the United States back when it was illegal. I think it still is illegal technically.
Yes, it is.
Is considered to be a serial killer, despite not wanting to kill those people. Like he didn't go out and hunt them down and kill them. Like they were all medically assisted suicides, but because he was the one who assisted them, they are considered his kills, and he is technically considered a serial killer. Moriarty is essentially doing the same thing. He doesn't want to kill the people, but he assists in the killing and therefore is involved in it, and therefore I think would be a serial killer, yes.
I know in the context of serial killers, people also talk about the guy. Oh God, what's his name? The guy with the upside down cross on his forehead.
Charles Manson?
Charles Manson. Yeah. Technically, he.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. Like,
and the,
technically, I don't think he killed anyone.
Helter Skelter.
Yeah. Technically, like.
He incited his fucking cult to kill, fuck, I forget what her name was, some actress and a whole bunch of her friends.
Yeah. I think it was like in this one house or some shit.
Yeah, they were all. I think they were having a house party, and
Yeah.
they killed like 5 or 6 people, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, Charles Manson was not involved in the killings, but is
But it's always considered a serial killer.
Yeah, because he incited those people to commit those killings.
Yeah. So,
All right, yeah. So I
Moriarty.
guess ABC's conclusion is Moriarty, definitively serial killer.
Yes. Also, for sure, sociopath.
Definitely a sociopath. That was not questioned.
Yeah.
Sociopath is a definitive yes. Serial killer, there was, I had to wrap my mind around it, but yeah, I think we both settled on was a serial killer, definitely is a sociopath.
But in the third episode, he's finally part of the Moriarty family. You see kind of their day-to-day lives for a little bit, and it's better than the orphanage, the orphanage, if you will. But like you kind of see the underbelly of the nobility, especially with the younger brother, who's a total fucking dickweed. I hate him. He's just a character that you love to hate. Wonderful.
Yes.
And then when he gets stabbed, yeah, you're like, yeah, people shouldn't get stabbed. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, that guy should get stabbed.
They do a good job of creating compelling, hateable characters.
Yes.
In that, like, sometimes anime creates, like, repugnant, hateable characters.
Oh my, like, it's just like, way too over the top, where you're just like, ugh, like,
yeah,
get this edge off of me.
exactly. They're just like, they're so detestable in every single way that you're like, this just isn't real. Like, yeah, I hate this character. I hate this character because they fucking suck.
Yeah, it's not like I
they're
hate this character because he's an awful person. You hate the character because he's an awful character.
Yeah,
In
and like he is
Moriarty,
an awful person,
yeah, like,
but the awful character.
they make you believe they're a realistic person. You can buy into it.
Exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
Because for the most
So
part,
like,
this guy's just the kid, but like he's just a really shitty kid.
yeah, and like we see where it comes from of like his dad, like they talk at dinner and they like have like agreements about like, oh, those no or those common people, they're like sewer rats. Yes, you're right, son. We're all fucking douchebags, and like all of their conversations, like their interactions together, and like them just being fucking garbage noblemen like all the fucking time, like it creates that like hateableness of like these two characters or these three characters with the mom as well, where like you genuinely fucking hate them, but they're like, I mean, they're good characters. Like they are good representations of bad noblemen in like whatever it is, like post-industrial British society.
Yeah, late 1800s, I think.
Hmm. Um,
And the episode ends with them blowing up.
yeah.
So the mansion's on fire. Albert shanks his brother. After the brother's gonna God, what's the word for it? Incriminate? No, that's not incriminate. God damn it.
Oh, he was gonna plant evidence.
Plant evidence, yeah, but there's a specific word for it.
He was gonna pull an LAPD
He was gonna pull an LAPD on our two younger brothers.
in the 1980s,
In the
and 1990s, and 2000s, and 2010s.
Yeah, and
Fuck the LAPD.
Fuck the PD.
Yeah.
We won't get into that
we're
right now.
We're not a political podcast.
Not political. That's why we're watching Moriarty, the Patriot.
Yeah, the Patriot. The brother was going to plant evidence on the Moriarty twins, or the twins, because he wanted to get them kicked out because they are lower class people. Of course, this is the same night that the twins, Moriarty and Albert, have put into action their plan to kill all of this family. So Moriarty, I'm annoyed. I hate calling him Moriarty
There's
while
four
the family is
Moriartys.
still alive.
So,
Yeah.
okay, let's go with this. Moriarty is our main character. William. Wait, no, that's even wrong. Fuck, I got it wrong already.
No,
Luis.
Moriarty.
Luis is the twin.
brother.
Is the brother.
Mhm.
And then Albert. Albert, Moriarty, and Luis. I was gonna say
Okay.
Moriarty, William being the brother, but that's wrong because William is our main
Yeah.
character.
William is also Albert's brother right now while he's still alive. William becomes Moriarty, our main character, after William,
Right,
the currently alive douchebag, dies.
Yeah, I don't believe we actually know William Moriarty, our Moriarty's name prior to this. Like,
Yeah, his actual first name? No.
Yeah.
I mean, other than being referred to as like Moriarty when he joins the family, like he's never referred to by name when they're in the orphanarium. Or the orphanage. I'm sorry, I've been watching too much
Orphanage.
Futurama. The orphanage, yeah. But yes, so Moriarty has Albert stab William in a really cool scene where they return to like the color palette dynamics of like blues and reds and really intense
very
shadows.
stark, very contrasty, very dark, very
And then
emotional.
just as Albert like stabs into him with the chair leg and twists it in there, and William drops to his knees, and immediately the color switches back. And I really like that effect of like you really felt like as Albert was getting that like cathartic stab off of like shoving that chair leg into his brother's chest.
Yeah, suddenly he comes
like,
back.
He comes back to it just as his brother like hits the ground. It was a good effect. I really liked it.
It's very good direction.
It is. But they leave him alive on the ground, suffering, because they need to make sure that the next part of their plan, it looks like he dies by breathing in
smoke.
Mm-hmm. Because they open up all of the gas intake valve or the gas outlet valves in the gas lamps, so pumping the house full of gas. And then Moriarty ties a little string around one end to the grandfather clock and one end to flintlock rifle.
Anything
so
for a spark.
So that way when it hits midnight or whatever time it is, the grandfather clock will move the pendulum, it'll pull back on the gun, drop the flintlock, and create a spark. And because there's gas infusing the entire house, the whole house will basically explode and go up like a matchstick. In the meantime, the twins and Albert seal themselves inside of the wine cellar to make sure that they're protected from the explosion and from all the gas. And once the explosion goes off, they just, casually pretend to like escape from the burning building together. And
And
that
that's
is how
before
they have
Luis kind of shoves a piece of fire, flaming stick onto his face just to make just to sell the
Yeah.
effect.
So they need to have some reason why, like, if they all walked out of there completely unburned, it would look a little suspicious of like your whole house just blew up and yet you three not even singed. That's a little weird. Instead, when he walks out with a giant, burn mark on his face, nobody's gonna question like, oh yeah, they've definitely been burned. Like they were involved in that fire just as much as those three dead people.
Yeah, or however many there is, because there's also the butler
Right. I
who
guess yeah.
denies.
There's also the butler, the shitty asshole butler.
Know your place, just like me. I never want anything better for my life.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a
Goddamn butler.
shitty post-industrial British society for you. Um, but yeah, that's how that episode ends. And now in the fourth episode, we return back to the present day that we saw in the first episode, as Moriarty has gone off to take up his position as a math professor
At some
a
college.
college.
In kind of a more rural part of Britain, right?
England.
Durham, is Durham in Britain?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's England.
I don't know, for whatever reason, I think Durham is like an Irish city.
Ah, okay.
I'm not sure why.
No, I'm pretty sure Durham is in England and not Wales.
But,
I think.
I mean, probably. I mean, let's look it up real quick. Quick little fact check.
Yeah.
Never hurt anyone.
We Yanks are not too familiar with all of those nasty British
It is
cities.
in England.
Okay.
I see no map, so I have no idea where in England it is. Oh, there you go.
It
Durham,
just
England.
is in England.
It is on the east coast, northeast coast of England.
Okay.
It's got a cool little
So
flag.
it's like kind of far away-ish from London.
I don't know where London is. I'm gonna say
London
sure,
is more like
in the southern part. Yeah.
southeast-ish. Yeah.
I mean, he did have to take a train all the way there, so.
Yeah, it's true.
But now he's hanging out in Durham. But we have a little cold open, which is kind of this kind of commoner-looking family of a wife and husband with a child in the wife's arms, as they're knocking on this kind of stately-looking mansion. Stately? That's not. I don't think that's the right. Whatever. On this nice-looking mansion.
Right word.
They're hitting the door, and out comes this big figure, big and barrel-chested figure, asking, "What the fuck do you want?" And the husband's like, "Yo, our kid's about to die. There's no doctor here. You've got a doctor in your mansion. Can you help us out?" And then rightly so, or not really rightly so, but and so just as we've seen all of our nobles be, the barrel-chested man says, "Fuck you," and then closes the door.
Brandon out here siding with the nobility.
I mean, I'm not
That's
siding with
their
the nobility.
fuck kids.
Well, one, yes, fuck kids, but two, that was a misfire of my words.
I know.
I did not mean to say rightly so. In fact, what happens to this main
in
character?
context for what you're about to say of "let the kid die," the phrase that first came out of your mouth was "rightly so." He let the kid die. Oof, not a great look.
Anyways, he lets the kid die, and the wife is just distraught. The husband is kind of like, basically just kind of accepts it, like, just. I can't find the wording for it, but he just kind of like succumbs to it.
He can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he just succumbs to it. He's just like, fuck, all right. I need to keep working in order to survive. And if I make you help my kid, you're gonna fire me. So he decides, he'll keep the job, but let the kid die. And as Moriarty shows up to the city, he kind of sees the wife there. He doesn't know the backstory just yet, but he sees, because he's Moriarty, kind of understands that something is wrong with her and something is bothering her. And even she kind of like just shoots daggers at him with her eyes. Because rightly so, she doesn't like the nobility. Nobility is kind of shit.
Yeah.
And the lemon seller tells him, "Oh yeah, that young lady, had her kid die because the mansion guy, total prick."
Mm-hmm. So Moriarty takes up his position as a university lecturer, does his thing, goes back home, and finds a little invitation from the local duke of the area to basically like, come have
A
a dinner
little,
at my
yeah,
place.
dinner, nice little
So
gathering.
Moriarty decides like, oh, this seems promising, seeing as how I've just heard about this lady who hates this duke because her kid died. So let's wait for Albert to show up. Let's go let's go meet the duke.
Let's go find out how
So
I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
yeah, see if I can get someone to criminally consult here to kill this motherfucker. So he goes off the next day to talk with the duke, and he learns some stuff about like, oh, he's interested in rare horticulture because that's just the way that pretentious British people were back then. Was let's just rape and pillage a society and take all of the rare stuff.
And also,
Um,
it kind of serves a purpose in that the special plant that he has to grow helps him with his heart condition.
yeah, so
That's
he
not gonna
needs
come
to
back later.
grow. Yeah, no, not at all. He needs to grow.
Kina.
Yeah, quinoa. He needs to grow quinoa.
It was
No, it is quinoa
it's
or something
Kina.
like that. So he can produce quinone as
Quinine?
which
I thought it was.
quinine, yeah, something like that. But he
It's
needs to
heart
produce
medicine.
it's some sort of anti-malarial drug that he's also using as a heart medicine or something like that. I forget what they actually say his like condition was. I don't know if they ever actually say what his condition
It's
is.
just something with his heart. That's all we know.
Yeah. Um, but we do also learn that he has this rare garden, and the Moriarty family all show like a decent amount of interest in it. So they're invited later on
They
to
have a little tea
return
party.
for a tea party there in the horticulture garden. They also go for a little like walking tour of it the day that they're there for their first dinner, and while they're there, the Moriarty sees the gardener uh, of this rare garden.
Yeah,
I
the
was trying to
actual
think of
the
like a more
person.
eloquent way to phrase it.
Just a gardener of the conservatorium.
Yeah, I guess yeah.
The, the person who does all the work and
Mhm.
actually knows how to take care of the plants and
Right.
knows what to do.
Yes. You've described gardener in 3 different ways now.
I'm more trying to making it very clear that the person who actually cares about the plants isn't the nobleman.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. I just thought you were finding additional ways to say the words "is a gardener" after you'd already said the words "is a gardener."
Anyways,
Um,
Moriarty meets the gardener at a pub and lets him know what type of person or what
yeah,
his
is a,
actual
is
job
a little
is.
bit of an antagonistic dickhead first,
Yeah, like, ha, you asshole, you let your kid die. Ha!
right?
What kind of
But
like
once he's got the gardener
dick does that?
riled up,
Yeah.
yeah, seriously. But once he's got the gardener nice and riled up, that's when he hits him with the. By the way, I consult on people in some less savory business on occasion. You wouldn't happen to have any unsavory business you suddenly want to commit, would you? I mean, if Moriarty was a police officer, this would 100% be entrapment right now.
Yes.
He's basically done the whole like, you should definitely kill that guy. I'll help you kill that guy. Let's kill that guy together. I'm arresting you for killing that guy. Except for he doesn't arrest people because he is a criminal.
Yeah.
Um, Moriarty is also doing this whole thing because he understands that while the wife hates the nobleman, she feels sort of like trapped with the current status quo of the way things are, where like they just can't fight back against the nobleman, and the husband wasn't going to do anything because he needed to like protect his job and protect the future of his family and all that. And so she feels very like defeatist about it, and the husband can't do anything, and so Moriarty has found a different way for them to go about it. And to do this, he shows up the next day for their tea party holding grapefruit tarts or some sort of grapefruit spread marmalade snack.
So, about a week ago, I was on Reddit just browsing, I think just our all, and I came across an Ask Reddit thread, which was, what is a fun fact you know about that not many people know? And the
Mhm.
number one comment was, if you're taking some medicine, be careful not to eat grapefruit because grapefruit has a special enzyme or a special chemical in it
Mhm.
that will cause some medicines to act weird. And watching like the guy like try to figure out what the fruit was, and then it cuts over
Uh-huh.
to the grapefruit, and the guy and Moriarty says, "Oh, it's grapefruit." That's when I was like, "Oh, I see what's going on. I'm knowledgeable. I got the knowledge in me."
I am knowledgeable.
I did think they were going to do something about like poisoning with the plants because the gardener's going to have some special knowledge.
Uh-huh.
But the grapefruit thing also works. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought they were just gonna switch out the quinine for something else because he just sort of blindly took that shit. Like there was no like check this for me. It was just straight up like,
He just
yep, I'm
dumps in
gonna
a
drink
bottle
this
and
whole
just,
thing now.
just take a shot of
Yeah,
that
fucking
quinine.
yeah, hit that thing like a shot. It sounds kind of cool that you had that like prior knowledge, but yeah. So the Moriartys turn up with the grapefruit tarts, and the Duke is like loving the fact that like, oh, one of my rare plants could actually be edible. I'm gonna eat all this shit, and so he's eating a shit ton of the grapefruit. And we see that our two servers, as Moriarty drops a little tidbit about like, oh, we can also turn grapefruits into grapefruit juice. So we call the Duke calls for two servers who turn out to be the gardener and the gardener's wife.
Mm-hmm.
So they're there making grapefruit juice, and the gardener's wife, who hates the Duke with everything that she has in her
Has
spirit,
a knife.
is standing there with a knife, cutting the grapefruits in half, and is looking at the Duke, enjoying his time being alive and not dead like her kid.
What a dumb
So,
motherfucker gives the person who hates you a knife.
I mean, seriously. I mean, what a dumb motherfucker who gives the fucking husband of the person who hates you the job of making the medicine for your heart. Again, we go back to they should have just switched that shit out. He was taking that shit like a fucking shot.
I don't know if
Uh,
he's the one that made it. The gardener's the one that made it, though.
it's true that maybe he didn't, but still, though, I mean, I guess yeah, we don't know about the whole process of making it. Um, but yeah, so she's standing there with a knife and gets to thinking by herself, or maybe not thinking, just gets to feeling, and so she feels that I'm gonna stab that motherfucker
Yeah,
now.
just, shank him. Easy peasy.
So
He's right there.
yeah,
He's fat.
she
He
takes
can't
a
run
run.
away.
Exactly, she takes a run, and he doesn't run away. He just falls backwards in his chair, really shitty, really no defense at all in any way, shape, or form. They really should not have stopped her. I mean, they literally should have just let her fucking murk that dude right there in that garden. Um,
Catharsis, Nick. Catharsis.
yeah, I guess so. Still, I would have felt pretty fucking cathartic if I got to knife a motherfucker
Wait,
who
that's what I'm
just
saying.
killed my kid.
That would have been cathartic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, but instead they grab her and hold her back. Hold me back. Hold me back. As they prevent her from stabbing the dude. And the Duke, now that he's not in imminent danger of being stabbed, is suddenly all like, oh, she didn't scare me that much. You just, oh, get out of my sight. You're both fired. I'm gonna fucking have the constable come for you tomorrow. Um, and he just had a little brush with death there for a moment, so he starts to have a little heart problem. So he takes out his heart medicine, takes a hit, and just like he said, the grapefruit that he's been eating makes it not quite work right.
Yep.
So he sits back down and suddenly has a little bit of a
Pale face, not a pale face, but
yeah.
he's got like the sick anime face
Yeah.
thing going on.
He gets he's looking at Moriarty, and we see it from his perspective, and suddenly there's a little bit of visual dysphagia as everything just sort of turns to the side all of a sudden. And he gets the pale face with the blue overtone of his the top of his head, and he sort of slumps down as he's not feeling good, and starts feeling worse. He kind of gets lower, and he's like, "Oh, somebody call a doctor. I'm not feeling good." And
Oh,
then
yes.
we see the Moriarty's all standing there looking at him, watching a man die.
And most importantly, ask him, you know who else asked for a doctor? And you know who else asked for a doctor? You know what else you said? No.
Yeah. I mean, that was some cold-blooded death words right there. I gotta give him credit.
And he dies.
And he dies.
And then they help the wife and the husband run away.
After the first episode, I did not expect Albert to be a cold motherfucker like the other two.
Oh, you were expecting him to like be on to that Moriarty was like doing some sus shit, not to be like actively.
I didn't know if he was gonna be like onto it as like like actively preventing it, so much as like maybe he was just gonna be like, the normal one of the three of them.
Not like actively involved in watching a man die.
Like maybe he'd be like tacitly aware of like, oh yeah, there's my brother Moriarty side business consulting, but I don't get involved in that kind of thing. Of like, he acknowledges that it exists, but like he doesn't get involved in it. No, he was just straight up standing there, one of the three fucking intimidating ass Moriarty brothers, staring a man down as he fucking died right there in his garden.
It was pretty fucking cool. I liked it.
It was some fucking cold blooded shit. But yeah, that was basically the end of it. They ship off the gardener and his wife off to London to go work in the Queen Victoria Botanical Gardens and live a new life, as they've committed a murder together, and so they've renewed their bond as a family, and the wife is no longer depressed. Not really how depression works, but we'll just gloss over that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out how they were gonna like make them get away with it, because like right now there's just a dead body in the conservatorium.
Well, I'm assuming that like the way they got away with it is like he just had a heart attack. Like he's,
Oh yeah, I guess so.
known for having heart problems, and he had heart problems there. And like any medical examination, because back then they weren't great, but they'd be able to look at it, and be like, yeah, he had a heart attack. He didn't get stabbed or anything. He just had a heart attack.
Maybe, because we haven't seen Sherlock yet.
Right,
Maybe Sherlock's gonna come across the grapefruit and be like, "Ooh, this guy knew about the grapefruit."
right. That's what I'm suspecting. Is Sherlock is going to see one of those like how Moriarty kind of put it together and figure it out, and that's how we're going to get it to meet Sherlock. But we will see. I'm hoping Sherlock shows up soon because I don't know. I always just like the Sherlock Moriarty interactions in other Sherlock media, specifically the BBC Sherlock, which is the only one that I've watched, but still
You,
it's
you
really
want to see
fucking
how
good.
they do it here?
Yeah. Although even in the Robert Downey Jr. movie, there was a little bit of Sherlock Moriarty interaction at the end. That was also pretty cool.
Okay. It's definitely this Moriarty is less unhinged than the BBC one.
Yeah.
Cause that guy was fucking wild.
Oh yeah. He was fucking insane in the membrane.
Kind
Although it
of,
was a really fucking compelling performance.
yeah, kind of reminds me of the animated Batman anime series Joker.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go with the Heath Ledger Joker.
No, because like I don't know.
I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker definitely had those moments of like manicness.
Yeah, he was very manic. I guess Heath Ledger would work too.
I could kind of see why you paused because Heath Ledger's Joker also had those moments of like grim seriousness at times,
And yeah, and
where like
Moriarty never really shows that.
always the Moriarty never really has that. He's always like just sort of a
More
little bit
absolutely
wonky,
chaotic.
hmm kind of like the animated series Joker, the Mark
Yeah,
Hamill Joker.
basically like he tries to keep a comedic facade,
hmm
but this Moriarty is like very serious. Has like an ideal that he's working towards.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely see how that's gonna work with this Sherlock.
hmm
Also, we get two new characters I think next episode. The guys with the guns from the opening. So we'll see how they kind of interact.
Oh,
With
are
the
they
whole
going to
crew.
show up next episode?
I think so. I think that was teased in the
Because
end of the
I think
episode.
one of those guys with the guns is Sherlock.
No, one of
Are you
them.
sure?
I'm pretty sure neither of them are Sherlock. I
The
think
tall one and the short one is what you're talking about
yeah,
with
the tall
the
guy and
long
the short
barrel.
one. Yeah, because I
I'm
think the Sherlock has more blue tinted hair in the show.
okay.
Because there's
We'll
another
see.
guy that
I
has.
kind of thought the tall one was Sherlock because he also shows up in the when they pull guns on each other scene.
I think. Well, they look very similar, and I don't because I think there's two separate characters,
Oh,
and I think this guy has like kind
we'll,
of a scar on his face.
okay. We'll see when we get to
Yeah.
like see all these characters if you're right. But like just from what we saw in the opening, I haven't paid a lot of attention because I thought they were the same character. But like if their designs are that close and they're two separate characters, that's not good character design. Like your character should be more definitively like separatable, unless they're supposed to be, Sherlock and fuck, what's his name, the
Watson?
brother.
Oh no,
No, the brother.
I don't know. I actually didn't know
Uh,
Sherlock had a brother.
yeah, no, fucking
Does Sherlock have a brother?
Mycroft Watson or Mycroft
Oh,
Holmes. Sherlock
uh,
and Mycroft.
maybe, but like Mycroft is usually like on Sherlock's side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that here, where because this guy is basically always um, kind of like set with Moriarty and the rest of the crew.
Ah, okay.
I don't think anyone is Minecraft. We see Watson because he's got the little circular hat with the blonde hair, and then
hmm
Sherlock with the kind of the more blue tinted
Okay.
hair. Um,
Yeah.
Another way you can tell them apart is that one of them wears like a trench coat, while Sherlock kind of wears like a more standard suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
definitely know better next episode though, because when we actually get introduced to whoever this character is.
yeah. I guess it makes sense. Mycroft is generally not depicted as intelligent. It was one of the weird things about the BBC Sherlock that they did differently than a lot of other media, in
Oh,
that like they depicted Mycroft as like a very competent person, like very intelligent, like on par with Sherlock. Where like in the Arthur Conan Doyle books and like in a lot of other things, like Mycroft is sort of adult a lot of the times. Like
oh,
he's just sort of like a government servant that Sherlock exploits.
oh, kind of like kind of a cog in the wheel, a cog in the machine type of person.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't
You know,
know
like a
that.
lot of the time, like Sherlock sort of just shows up and it's like, "Hello, my government servant brother. I need you to grease a few wheels for me." And Mycroft generally is sort of bitchy about it, but sort of comes around to Sherlock's side eventually. Where
Basically, kind
like
of like
the BBC Sherlock, he's more exploitive
okay,
himself.
so in the books, it's more of an excuse for the government to help out Sherlock in certain
Yeah, kind
scenarios.
of. Mm. Or for like Sherlock to get some sort of like confidential information about something. Yeah.
Okay, kind of a little the little shortcut, I guess, for the
Yeah,
writer.
kind of. Hmm. Um,
That's
but yeah, it's I mean, in terms of the coloring and like the way the tone of the show is set with like the use of color, I like it. I like it a lot. The blues, the reds, the whole like poison thing where like the lights started to get really bright and the dark started to get like really intense. I mean, it does color well.
yeah. His very dark, not dark eyes, but his very like deep red eyes. Whenever he's
Mm.
thinking, looks really cool. Um, just give that man a Sharingan already.
He's earned it.
Yep. That's
I kind of expected in the third episode that whatchamacallit, the douchey Lord Moriarty, not the brother, but the actual like adult Lord. I was kind of expecting him to get it in with that one lady that he was trying to like
nah.
hit on all the time. I
Well,
was
he's
expecting
not
that to just
anymore.
sort of add to his dickishness. It was like Andy cheats on his wife,
Oh yeah, he
but
totally wanted to cheat on his wife.
I mean he absolutely wanted to, yeah. But that girl was just fucking playing the hustle.
I mean,
That
now he
girl
can't
knew
because he's
I
he's
was
burnt to a
dead.
crisp.
Yeah.
All his not only all of his body's burnt ends. Oh. Well, anyways,
Um. Yeah.
that's Moriarty. Cool show. We're gonna get some more things. I think we're gonna
Hmm.
start getting into like longer arcs soon. I think these first couple of episodes are just kind of these short, um, beginning to end stories, but we're gonna start getting into
Yeah.
like the longer Moriarty versus Sherlock stuff soon.
Well,
Uh,
I assume that's why we were going to get Sherlock soon, was because like we had one to set up like this is what the show is about,
yeah.
and then this one was this is like going to be the way that like Sherlock starts to hear about Moriarty, was like this person died, and he's gonna figure out like he didn't just die, he was murdered.
It was a murder.
Meat
I'm
is
excited to see the
murder.
next because it's really cool to see the mystery from the opposite side of like
Uh-huh.
creating the mystery
Right.
rather than like trying to solve it and try to create the mystery such that it can't be traced back to you. That's the angle. That's the problem.
Hmm.
That's the conflict. But we have a lot more episodes to go. We may or may not watch this when the second part comes out. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, because apparently there will be
yeah,
a
hopefully.
second season, which is essentially the first season, the back half,
Yeah,
but it's not coming until the spring. So there'll be a break in between for one season.
my hope for this first half is that we want to watch the second half after this part ends.
I would hope so.
Yeah, like that's my hope is that want to continue watching the show now that I know
Uh-huh.
that it will continue. But yeah,
I'm
Murder's
hoping
cool.
that it just at least ends on like a good ending note. Like it could end on a cliffhanger, I'm okay with, but like I just don't want it to end like very flat or like very sort of awkwardly. Go back to Orisuki. That was a bad ending. In that like it wasn't a cliffhanger, it was just we've just left off that last episode. Like there will be one more episode eventually. You're going to have to pay us extra for it. That
My
didn't feel great.
I don't think it'll do that. My guess is that either it ends on a cliffhanger or it ends at the end of a mystery or end of an arc,
Right.
kind of
I
like
hope
a
so. I
natural
hope it
end.
just doesn't end in like the middle of something and not in like a cliffhanger way, just of like, yeah, this is the stopping point. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. We have sort of had like throughout ABC evidence of like various shows ending on different like points in
Notes.
time of a show.
Yeah,
We had Stone Wars basically ending at the beginning of an arc rather than like the end of one,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like that pulled it off well.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a minor cliffhanger, like a mini
Right.
cliffhanger.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cliffhanger in that like it was an ending and like we were anticipating the next thing, but it wasn't like there. I mean, there is kind of imminent danger in that we're about to start a war, but like it was like we got the beginning of the Stone War of like they are marching to war, like it's going to happen. We know that it's going to begin with like we're getting into it kind of stuff. It's like that didn't end at the end of an arc. That ended at like the beginning of one, which is like weird to say because those distinctions are like on top of each other essentially, but like that ending was definitively the beginning of the Stone War arc, not the end of the one preceding it.
I feel like
Um,
that's actually pretty common. Not common, but like of the endings to go, that one is done. Like I think in Game of Thrones, one of the endings for for the season is Daenerys like sailing her boats across the sea,
okay.
and that's kind of like leading up to the great or leading up to whatever she's gonna do. I think she starts a war. I don't remember. Kind of like that.
Oh, I don't know if I would agree with that. Only because, like, from the perspective of, because I haven't watched any of the show, I only read the books.
Hmm.
From the perspective of the books, Daenerys' character arc has always been, because in the books, we have not yet reached the point where Daenerys has sailed across the seas. She's still in the Free Cities. And so, from Daenerys' character arc, it's always been leading towards sailing across the sea. So like I would more see her getting on the boats and sailing across the sea as the end of the Free Cities rather than the beginning of the Westeros invasion. I would see her landing in Westeros as the beginning of the Westeros invasion, in my opinion.
Right, but like I don't know how the shows did it because like it could have just cut out the actual journey there. So
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah,
like those two pieces could just be the same thing.
right.
I
And that's why like I said, it's a weird distinction to make because the end of one arc and the beginning of another arc are like so closely linked. But like from the perspective of like when we watched Doctor Stone, like it felt like we saw the first episode of the Stone War thing, where like they attacked the fucking the scout girl in the tree and like
oh
ran
yeah,
her
yeah.
off and like marched to war. That was the first episode of the Stone War arc. It wasn't the last episode of whatever was before the Stone War arc.
Right. Okay. So in this case, the start of the Westeros invasion would be like the first battle, and then it ends.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
see that.
Or like they're setting up for the first battle kind of thing, and like
Yeah.
the first battle's like about to kick off. Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyways, that was Game of Thrones.
That
Let's
yeah,
talk about Akudama Drive.
yeah, that was Game of Thrones. I had a little bit about Doctor Stone. All that aside, we are here to talk about Akudama Drive.
Where we're on the train. We're getting
We go
not get,
60 miles an hour, the bomb will explode. Hmm.
yep, speed. Was that a
Speed.
bus? That was a bus, right?
That was a bus, yeah.
Okay, cool. There's actually a similar X Files episode with Bryan Cranston in season 7, where he maintains
Oh,
speed. Yep, fun little fact. But this
was
isn't about
probably a
X
way
Files.
better episode than Speed with Nick Cage.
It was a pretty good episode. People really liked it. Bryan Cranston had a great performance. The kind of supernatural part of this episode was that the government was basically using these big ass like radio dishes to like communicate with
Mm.
something. And for a reason, some people were able to hear it and started going crazy. One of the characters, Bryan Cranston, who is trying to ride his car west as fast as he can because he keeps because if he keeps moving to the west, he doesn't hear it as bad. And
Ah,
David Duchovny's character basically tries to help him. At the end of the episode, they get to California, and the guy's head blows up.
okay. They
Yeah.
reached the sea and he can't go any further west.
Yep. And
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can, yeah, understand that one.
he stopped going
Um,
60 miles per hour, and it blew up. Anyways,
right.
um, we are now at the front of the train. Our gang is at the front of the
Back
train.
of the train.
Back of the train.
We're at the back of the train. We
Back
need
of
to
the
get to
train.
the front of the train.
Okay, I'm a little confused because it looks like they go into the front of the train because it like moves. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, you're right. It
right?
does. But then, like when they cut the train in half, they're definitively on the side that's moving. I think maybe they're not actually
It's a
because
little
they're
weird.
half. Yeah, there's a lot there that's kind of weird. Now that
Anyway,
I think
let's not think
about it
about it
too
too
hard.
quick. Let's not
Yeah.
think about it too much. Maybe it is the back of the train, and like the actual front of the train is the one. Anyways,
I mean, it's
um,
one of those like the train goes both ways, so there isn't really like a back and front of the train. There is like the direction it's moving and the direction it's not currently moving, but
yeah,
like because the sides are interchangeable is essentially what I'm saying. Like it's hard to get a definitively sense of like this is the front of the train and this is the back of the train because like both ends are at some point in time the front of the train.
right. Anyways, they're on the train. The police show up. The Popo show up.
Yeah, the
And
executioners.
they have to get to the vault within the allotted time limit, which is 10 minutes.
Something like that.
Yeah. This episode is much longer than 10 minutes.
Yes, they
Uh,
spend much longer before they run out of time.
yeah.
Because yeah, I think they get. I think it's like 7 minutes, and we hit the point we were trying to avoid at
Which
like
is
13 minutes.
Yeah, so we've got 10 minutes to get 10 minutes to get to the vault before we get to the oh god, what do they call it? The spooky zone.
Oh god, yeah, the like ultimate, the absolute quarantine zone. I think is what it
Absolute
was.
quarantine zone, yes. But we're allowed to stay in the absolute quarantine zone for a little bit because after the absolute quarantine zone, there's an even worse zone where all organic
Yeah.
matter is destroyed. um,
Because of whatever, like as we learned from the shark and the rabbit again. Which again, I don't know if I needed this exposition here. I
I
don't
liked
know if
it.
I. I mean, it
Um,
wasn't bad. It was it unlike the execution one, where like definitively I thought they were telling us stuff we'd already been told, and like I just didn't like it at all. This one more fell into the category of like I didn't need some of the information, but like I did kind of learn some other stuff.
some of this
Um,
information could have just been given to us by the cat.
yeah, and some of it we already had learned.
Yeah.
Like I think we already learned about like the anti-material field by that point, and the fact that like the absolute quarantine zone was like really fucking bad and stuff like that. Like that all we'd already learned. There was some
The
other like
exact
kind of interesting
mechanics of
stuff.
how it worked and like why it was there, they kind of elucidate.
Right.
But I like the end of the end of that segment where they reach the anti-organic zone and the little puppets that just poof away,
Burn away,
they
yeah.
burn away.
That was good. I also did note that those are being produced by the city
Kansai,
that our characters are from. Yeah,
Kanto,
Kansai. Kan- I
Kansai,
don't know.
Kansai.
Okay.
Kanto's the one that they're getting going
I'm
to.
really fucking annoyed that both of the cities start with a K, by the way,
You mean
because in my mind,
K-A-N? They're both the same fucking syllable at the beginning.
yeah, they're both Kan something, and it really fucking annoys me because they keep getting mixed up in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from Kansai. It's definitively the city that all the characters are from. It's not the good city. Good
Right.
to hear the air quotes.
It,
Um,
yes.
so like, it is interesting there because it's not like propaganda being produced by the like revered city for the lower class city. Like, it's propaganda being produced by the lower class city, and like we haven't heard a lot. Like, we only heard very briefly in this episode that like Kanto, the like revered city, isn't the paradise that everyone thinks it is. Maybe.
Yeah. By the cat? Yeah, the cat's like, that city
Yeah.
fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah.
But this entire episode is basically trying to get to the front of the train. Trying
Right.
to get to
Get
the front of the
vault.
train.
We're trying to get to the vault. Let's just say the
yeah.
vault.
Trying to get to the vault, which holds something that might help them get through the decontamination zone.
This is the weird thing, and like
right.
why I kind of agree with your whole like, is it the front, is it the back thing? Because like I think it is going that way. It's like I think it is the front of the train, but in terms of like car orders, because they start in car 6 and have to get to car 1, which would mean that they have to get to the front of the train and that they're at the back of the train. But I think they jumped in the front of the train in terms of like direction it's going. It's very weird.
Yeah.
So they have to get to car 1 though, where the
Yeah.
vault is.
And along the way, basically, we're the entire time we're fighting the two cops, the younger cop and then the Kakashi cop, both of which
Yeah.
just all the entire the fighting with the cops is just fucking wild, and they're all like superhuman fucking monsters. It's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah, like it's balls to the wall action. Like it's an '80s movie.
Yeah, pretty much. As Kakashi Cop and Brawler just fucking go at each other for
Yeah,
a
for
while.
a good 10 minutes, they're just fucking going to town on each other. Cutthroat shows up for a little bit to protect Swindler.
Mhm.
And I believe
And he's had a
it's
good like small sequence there of
yeah,
like some knife sleight of hand. Gets a
yep.
solid like slash in at the at Kakashi Cop.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Cutthroat. I want to see more of like
Cutthroat's pretty
his
fun.
fighting. Because so far we've really only seen like Brawler throwing down for like extended scenes.
Well, you know
So I
that
think it's
Cutthroat immediately tries to like jump onto the guy's head and snap it off.
oh yeah. He went for the immediate like fucking assassin neck snap.
More like the squirrel neck snap. He just fucking like jumps on him like a goddamn ravenous squirrel.
Ravenous squirrel.
Rabid
What is
squirrel, whatever. I mean, it could
I
be
mean
ravenous.
yeah,
It
I mean
could
he
want some
could be,
food.
but I feel like squirrels generally don't jump onto human beings when ravenous.
I mean, no, you haven't seen the squirrels I've seen.
What fucking squirrels have you seen?
Never again. Anyways, while Cutthroat and Brawler are fighting a Kakashi Cop, we have Android, Courier, and Doctor fighting the younger
Oh
cop.
yeah, a replicant who's definitely a replicant.
Yes,
Hmm.
for sure he has got metal arms,
Yeah.
because the electricity lightsaber doesn't hurt his arms.
I wish I could remember what it was now. Something in this episode, I was like, once again, I'm like, this dude is just a fucking replicant. Like, he just is a replicant. I don't care, like, how this ends. Like, I don't care if it comes out like he's actually a human being at the end. I disagree. He is a replicant.
I
He
think
just is a replicant. He's a
they've
Gen 6.
I think they've said that he like is a robot. He's an android.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think it's confirmed that he's an android. At least to maybe our knowledge, he might be an android. I think you were told he was an android at some point in the show.
He better be an android. If he's not an android, he will forever in my head be a replicant. Because that's just what he is.
Fun fact: replicants weren't mechanical;
Yeah, they were biological.
they were biological.
Like I said, if he is not an android, he is a Gen 6 replicant.
At the very
So
least, he's
real and
got
thinks
metal
it's
arms.
human. Hmm.
And he's trying to get to his bike because we need the bike in order to get to the vault.
Carry
Which
the vault.
carry the vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Because the original plan was for them to like hook onto the vault and like drive back out of the train before it gets to the quarantine
Cool.
zone.
Okay. Yes, that makes sense. Because I
Yeah.
think what I saw it translated as was we need it for the vault, which turned out to not really be true, because we got to the vault anyways.
Yeah.
I guess the laser beam didn't really help, but anyways, and
I mean, to be fair, in the original plan, they didn't need it for the vault.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
they
just they
needed
didn't
to-
need to get to the vault. They needed it for carrying the vault.
I mean, you still need to hit the vault though.
Right.
Anyways.
But the plan, the way they get to the vault is they have hackers just hack through a whole bunch of doors. It's really not interesting. You just sort of hacking doors for a long time until we get to Carriage 2, where we find the defense system for the train.
Yeah, which he then hacks in and turns it to his buddy.
Yeah, which he uses to face laser back down the train, to basically interrupt Kakashi Cop and Lady Cop.
Brawler? Yeah. To interrupt both of them, and then sever the train in two, so that they basically are pushed away.
Yeah. And so he also uses the extendo claws to go and grab people up as Courier
crane
drives
game,
down
right?
on his bike. He crane gains it up. He collects everybody inside of their carriage. They cut themselves off, and then
They open the
Doctor
vault.
uses their little explodey vial to seal up the train so they're not getting a quarantine zone in their face.
Yep.
As we have now reached the quarantine zone. We did not make it out in time. We are stuck inside the quarantine zone.
Yes, and now we
Uh,
have made it to the vault. Cat says, "Cool, I'm the last key," and then basically fizzles away and drops a little seal. Puts a cute little
Yep.
cat knickknack on the end of there. We open up the vault
Yeah, it does.
and we find out there's two kids in there. One looks like Hanako from Hanako. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah,
Hanako.
from the Toilet Ghost?
Yeah.
The Toilet Ghost.
Like exactly like the Toilet Ghost. And then the other
Mhm.
one's like a more traditional looking little sister girl.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Cool, thanks. I want the cat, guys."
Yeah, I'm a cat.
I'm
That's
gonna
why I
have-
sound like the cat.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my little sister play the recorder, and then make a force field.
Yeah,
Which-
and they make
which
a little
makes
force
sense.
field in the thing. Again, I don't remember if they were at the side of the train that was going places or the side of the back of the train, so like that's why they slowed down. But they stop in the middle of the quarantine zone, maybe because of the sister, maybe because they just don't have power anymore. So now they're inside of the shield in the quarantine zone that the sister created, but they're not going anywhere. They're just sort of chilling out there on the rail inside the
Yeah.
quarantine zone where nothing can survive.
And
And that's just sort of where we end.
yeah.
We're just there hanging out together, all 8 of us on this train with no food.
9 of us.
9 of us.
Yeah.
With no food and no way of going anywhere that we know of. and no
Maybe they
real plan.
stop the train. Maybe like that's the actual piece that moves.
Right, yeah.
I can't
But
tell. Once
if they
again,
start it up again, they're going towards the anti-material fields. Like it's not the direction you want to go, even if you can go.
yeah, but maybe the shield does something. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll find out next episode. I'm interested to see what happens. I was kind of well. What was my prediction? My prediction was that inside the box was going to be an AI.
I
Yes,
think so.
right?
We did kind of predict that the cat was going to be the thing in the vault.
Yeah. I guess that piece of my prediction was correct. Whether or
Uh-huh.
not the kids are machines is not yet understood.
Right.
Um, as of right now, they're not normal kids, but they're kind of just kids.
Right. The sister did some sort of like magic shit to, I assume, hold back the quarantine-ness of the quarantine zone, but
Yeah.
we don't actually know like if it is actually magic or what, because you know, there's been a whole bunch of like weird shit. Like Doctor got her head chopped off and then sewed it back on. That shit's not normal.
Yeah. And then says that someone else can do it better than she can.
Yeah. So we'll see like what's up later on in the next episode, presumably, as to like what the sister is doing exactly and like what their plan is. But yeah, for the moment, they're just sort of chilling out in a quarantine zone where nothing can survive and they can't go forward because they'll die. And presumably they can't go backwards because there's just a half a train sitting on the tracks behind them.
So, the whole thing about the organic destructo field, if you're transporting those kids, wouldn't they have died?
So
Right? I'm
that's
trying
kind
to
of what I thought
figuring out.
the thing they were going to survive is. I'm assuming that the vault is made out of like anti-organic decomposition field
Like
material.
anti field.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you're in the box, if you're in the vault, you can survive. If you're outside the vault, you're fucked, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like we saw them inside that box. That box was fucking cozy, dude.
That was a very small box. That could fit two small children.
Yeah, that's exactly what it fit. And there was no room for, whatever it was, like 7 adults to fit inside there.
That fits one half of Brawler.
Exactly. So I don't think the plan is going to be like everybody pile in the vault and we're all just going to hang out because like there was not room in that vault unless there was like a second like level below the kids of like
Yeah,
this
it's
is where
like
you store your slightly larger people.
it's actually just like a little house.
Yeah. it
Also,
actually has a sub basement that runs all along like the bottom of the train.
right. Another thing. The cat. Why does it just disappear? Like, why does it just
Yeah.
dust?
I don't know. I'm assuming that's part of like his power.
Oh,
Like
maybe
I'm assuming that the sister has like force field powers and he has like I can create, you know,
matter.
yeah, ghost cats that dissolve into fucking ashes when I'm done with them, kind of thing.
We'll see. It's
But
a
yeah,
wild
we'll
show.
see what's going on. I'm assuming at some point we're gonna make it to Kanto and see that like shit's equally shitty there, or possibly more shitty,
Or maybe just robots.
or maybe just robots. Because as we found out that like even though they have this train and like had that nice like train facility,
Yeah, everyone would have just
nobody ever
died.
gets on this train apparently.
Right, because everyone would have just died if they went through the field.
Yeah, and like it's weird that they have just two fucking passenger cars hooked up to this train then, but like they just do for some reason. So we'll see what's up with Kanto when we get
A
there. But
lot of
like clearly there's
questions.
some weird shit.
A lot of questions.
We also at some point we'll probably learn more about Swindler. We still don't know like what's up with her, what her real job is.
Yeah, because she made a weird comment about like I don't remember what it was, but I remember her making a weird comment about the train.
Hmm. She made another comment of like I've never seen like
Yeah, yeah,
something like this or like I've when I was here there was never like
yeah.
she made
Like
some comment about that. Like I've seen this
she knows
before and they're
more than she lets on right now.
right.
There's something up with her.
And I couldn't tell if she was just like doing some like swindler lying or like that was genuinely her reaction. It felt
Yeah.
like a genuine reaction, but like maybe it was just swindler lying. But we will see. I can't tell if she's just a regular person hanging out, fucking
Or a
on
cop.
for a yeah, or a cop, or some other third thing. Maybe she is like legit swindler. Maybe she just is an Akudama and is just doing like
Yeah.
a swindler thing, pretending that she's not this whole time to swindle them all.
I don't know. I'd love to see how they do it. If she's like 1000 IQ brain plays. I'd fucking love it.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
We'd have smart characters in every show.
Right.
Not that she isn't
So
smart. Like she's been pretty resourceful this entire show.
yeah, she has. I mean, she saved Courier back in the first episode when he was about to get face lasered by the defense thing.
Yeah, I think also helps him out this episode too.
I think so. So I mean, she's been like intelligent all the way along.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to see where it goes. I want to learn more about all our characters. They're all cool.
same.
I like them all, except for
Always.
Hoodlum. Hoodlum kind of sucks, but you know, a lot of the time he's just sort of hanging out in the background. He's not being like super annoying, so I can kind of deal.
Yeah, he at least they're not using him too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely see what's going on with the show. But I'm liking it.
I am too.
So when's tonight? The night, Nick. What would you like to sell out to today?
I'm going to sell out to a video game today called Control. Actually, you know what? I'm not. I lied. I'll sell it to that another day. What I'm actually going to sell out to is weirdly like an anti-sellout in that I'm selling out to something that I don't actually believe in, but I'm selling out to it for reasons that I do believe in. Because I'm going to sell out to pineapples on pizza. I know it's sacrilege. Friend's been bringing it up several times recently.
Well, I don't give a shit about it.
Right, but I'm selling out to it because I don't give a shit about it anymore either. And it's sort of a thing of like, as I've gotten older, I have like, it's weird to say the phrase cared less about things, but it's the truth in that like, when I was 18 and like a gigantic ball of angst and
Yeah.
annoyance, I gave more of a shit about like the concept of pineapple on pizza. As I've gotten older, I mean, I still don't like it. I think the concept of baking a fruit onto a savory, you know, cheese and sauce pie is like weird to me. Baked fruit is a dessert, so like baking fruit onto a pizza is kind of weird to me. But at the same time, like as I've gotten older, I just don't care anymore. Like it just takes too much effort to care about things that like I just don't have that much energy anymore.
I don't think
Like
many people do care. It's just a meme. It's just a dumb thing to goof
yeah,
off about.
I mean some people care a lot about things. As I made the mistake of reading red pill things and it was like, wow, these people care way too much about really shitty things.
Yeah.
I just, you know, if the worst thing is like I hate pineapples on pizza, I just can't work up the energy to care that much about hating it. Like I just don't like it. It's just a me thing. Like, you know, I say the phrase "you do you" the only way you know how. That's basically the way I live my life now. Is like, you know what? Everyone should do them the only way they know how. So like, I'm selling out to pineapples and pizza. I don't believe in it, but I believe in what it represents.
How the
You
fuck do you
doing
not believe in
you the only way.
It's a thing.
What?
You can't not believe in a
What
thing.
Okay, I don't. I'm
You don't
yeah,
like pineapple on pizza. That's what you should
Yeah.
mean.
I don't believe that it should be a thing. I don't believe in the
Okay.
concept of putting pineapples on pizza in that like it's not a like thing that should go there because like I said, baking a fruit is making a dessert. So making it for a savory thing is like weird to me. Cuz like baking a fruit enhances its sweetness, but like in my opinion, enhancing the sweetness of a fruit to put onto a pizza like is defeating the purpose kind of. But that's just me again.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, and obviously I don't really care that much. You
Fun
do
fact,
you, the only way you know how.
the reason it becomes sweeter is because of the caramelization process, where I think it's like, it's not enzymes, but like there's some chemistry that happens when you heat up fruit or vegetables, which turns certain parts of that vegetable or fruit into more sugar.
This is all food science. This is not what I did, so I
Yeah.
cannot speak to this, but probably. I'm
This
gonna
is like
believe it.
this is like the 1 million mile view, where like it's just scratching the thinnest surface.
Okay.
There's much more to learn about it, but that's all I know is that like when you cook something, it breaks down some pieces of the vegetable and that turns it into sugar, makes it sweet.
Yeah, that's all food science and is a very different branch of chemistry than what I did.
That's why when you like cook down onions, they'll get sweeter.
Ah, okay.
Yep, that's why French onion soup is very sweet. It can also be very savory. Anyways, I'm going to sell out to. I believe I was selling out to video games this season. Yes, maybe. I don't remember.
Maybe we've only
Fuck
done
it.
one this season, so it's hard to say. I don't remember the last deal item. last
Well, I'm
time.
gonna open up my Steam account real quick and figure out what this hell out to, because I didn't actually know anything. I'm horribly, horribly ill prepared. Fuck, get out of my face, these stupid fucking ads.
Should have thought of this yesterday.
I was too busy having
We're
a
we're
stomach ache yesterday.
yeah, we're filming this one day late, I should add, because Brandon was sick yesterday. So I'm not just saying you should have thought of this yesterday to be like, oh, you should have thought of this on Saturday. Yesterday was the day we were supposed to record this. So like, he should have been thinking about it on the day we would have recorded it, not be a bitch with his stomach ache.
I'm gonna sell out to. I just saw it. Hold up. Shit. Fuck. Age of Empires.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
fun game from my childhood. I played it all the time because that's the only game my computer ran and the only one I owned.
Wasn't that the like the epitome of being a child back then? Was like it's the only game that I had, so I played the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Well, that was the computer game I had. I did have like a Game Boy and a GameCube, so I played a lot of the
Ah,
Nintendo
okay.
games. Um, another game which I'm gonna sell out to next week. I'm gonna write it down real quick, but I won't mention it just yet. But yeah, Age of
All right.
Empires, super fun game. One reason I played it a lot was because I didn't have StarCraft.
Mhm.
So instead I played Age of Empires, but I really liked RTSs when I was younger. They're really fun. I had no one to play with, so I never got good.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have
Um.
internet until I was in high school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.